Hello everyone, my name is Anusha Subramanian and today I will be demonstrating the gold point section of Project Zero. For the project, I decided to implement elastic collisions. First, I will show a basic elastic collision in the X direction. I added background music that the user can choose from based on their mood. In total, there are 5 different moods, and if you press any other option than the given, then no music will be played. So if I were to press 0, then no music will be played, but the animation will continue. For this example, I do want music to be played, so I will use the spooky background music, which is basically one of the songs from the movie Interstellar. In the example, you see that once these planets collide, their velocities will change. I also added boundaries so that the planets can't leave the universe, as I thought it was a little boring to see the planets collide and go off screen. And this basically keeps the planets continuously colliding. Let's take a look. So yeah, you can see when the planets collide, their velocities change and a crash sound is played. And the planets can't leave the universe because of the boundaries. The crash is detected based on the planets' distances from each other and their radii. If the distance between the planets is less than or equal to the sum of the planets' radii, then we know a crash has occurred, so a crash sound will play. And to get the planets' radii, I had to use the dimensions of each of the pictures. So I used the scaling factor of the radius of the universe, which is provided in all of the data files, and divided that by the radius of the background picture. And if you notice in the example that Earth is moving less compared to Mars, don't worry, that's all because of the physics. For this project, we're assuming that there's a conservation of momentum, and because of that, and because Earth's mass is much larger than Mars's mass, that means Earth's velocity will be much less compared to Mars's velocity in order to maintain that conservation of momentum. For the second example, I will demonstrate a collision of several planets. And this collision will occur in both the X and Y direction. This example is really similar to the previous example, but now you can see an elastic collision in the XY direction, and you can also see how all the planets are still subject to the gravitational forces that they would experience in space. And for this example, I'll play some tranquil background music. So yeah, you can see that this example is similar to the first example, but now you can see some collisions happening in the XY direction. For the final example, I will demonstrate a sun colliding with the planets and some funky background music. The distinct part about this example is that if a planet collides with the sun, then the sun would absorb the planet, and the sun's radius would increase by the absorbed planet's radius. And to allow for variable size of the sun, I created an orange circle through the stddraw library and adjusted the radius every time something would crash into the sun. So in the example, you'll see that when the planet crashes into the sun, the planet will disappear and the sun will grow. So let's take a look. To detect if something should be drawn or not, I had to use instance variables. So when a planet crashes into the sun, it shouldn't be drawn anymore. So I used an instance variable called shouldDraw to check if that planet should be drawn or not. And that's it for my project. One feature I wanted to add was ArrayList, because ArrayList would allow me to have a variable list of all the planets, which would be useful when a planet would collide into the sun. Because what I'm doing right now is I'm using instance variables, but I thought it would be useful to remove the planet from, or remove that body from the universe when it collides into the sun. But I decided to use instance variables because it was a little more efficient in terms of time. It took a little bit more longer to iterate or recurse through the array list and remove that body from the universe if it were to crash into the sun, which is why I did not implement array list. And that's how my project works. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.